Today, I want to ask you a very interesting question. If we can find the answer to this one question, we will also get answers to many other questions or to many people in our daily lives. Is it possible for us to talk to trees or to nature? Does nature change according to the way we speak? Or some people claim that they have seen God in person or that they have spoken to God. When someone says something like this, how should we think about it? Yes, we might think either this person is lying or this person is crazy or this person is extremely spiritual. These are the three ways we can think about it. Many people claim that we have abilities that go beyond human or even superhuman limits. Isn't it? Even now, these are the only three ways we can think about it. Whether it's because he has a human sixth sense, or he's spiritual, or he's just lying, or he's crazy, isn't it? So we can only think about this in these three ways, right? As I said, I am Dr. Anumod Kakkassery, Chief Physician at Marian Ayurveda Thrissur. I completed my post-graduation in psychiatry at Kottakkal Ayurveda College. After completing my post-graduation, I was invited by a leading television channel in Kerala to participate in a program called Ask the Doctor on the topic of psychiatric treatment and Ayurvedic psychiatric care. It was a live program. At that time, I had just finished my studies and started my career. So since it was live, I had to speak without any chance for preparation at all. So I went to that television program. The first call came in like this. Doctor, I often feel like I have the ability to talk to trees and nature. Many times I feel like when I talk to them, they actually listen to me. So the person's question was, is this a special ability of mine or is it some kind of mental illness? I can't immediately say how to provide a solution for this, at least not right away. But based on what I know, I said that it would have been better if someone close to you, like your wife or children, were also present. To understand this, because with any illness other than mental illness, it's enough to just ask the patient. But to know whether it's a mental illness or not, we can only really understand if we see the people who are with the patient. So when I asked, the person said, no, there's no one with me. So if someone asks us this question, how should we think about it? As I mentioned earlier, nowadays we see more people claiming to have divine visions and miraculous powers than those who are truly connected with nature. So how can we distinguish and understand this? Is this due to spirituality or is it just lying? Or, well, whether someone is lying or not is not really our concern. For a doctor, the main question is whether this is a mental illness or not. So for a doctor, the only relevant question is whether it is spiritual power or a mental illness. So to understand this, let me tell you, I asked that person if he had a wife and he replied, no, my wife is not with me. Let me say this as a layman for the general public. When it comes to a person, there are three domains we need to assess. Once we check these three domains, we can determine whether it is a mental illness or not. Whether it is some divine ability or a sixth sense, that is not something we need to consider right now. When someone says something like this, we can specifically look at this ability only to find out whether it is a mental illness or not. The three areas I mentioned are what we use to assess this. First, I asked this person, do you have a job? Whether the person has a job or not, it becomes very clear to us from the way the person responds if they are truly suffering from a mental illness. But even then, we cannot say for sure that the person sitting next to us has a mental illness. So I asked this person, do you have any kind of job? Then the person said, I don't have any particular job. I just go around doing public service or environmental activities like this. So the reason we ask that question is because for people with mental illnesses, it's not always at the workplace that problems occur. There are certain mental illnesses where there won't be any issues at work. The problems will only arise at home. For some people, the problem is the opposite. There won't be any issues at home, but the problems will arise at the workplace. So we talk about three areas. First, how is their interaction with the general public? How are their relationships with the public? If things are okay there, then that domain can be considered as functioning properly for them. The second domain refers to their family life. If their family life with their spouse and children is generally healthy and without major issues, then their second domain is also considered to be functioning well. The third domain refers to their personal matters, such as personal hygiene or education, which should also be assessed in relation to these aspects. If all three of these domains are perfect in a person, then whether or not they talk to God as doctors, it is not an issue for us. We can say that they are not a patient. We can say that they do not have a mental illness. Now, as someone asked earlier, if a person talks to trees, let them do so. But if all three of these areas are correct, we can fully recognize that they are not mentally ill. So we have only one thing to consider when it comes to the question of whether talking to trees is a spiritual power or a disorder, or in similar situations, we cannot say anything else. Just think about whether these three areas of theirs are correct or not. If his social life is good, his family life is good, and his personal hygiene and personal matters are all correct, then whether this is his sixth sense or some supernatural ability, it doesn't matter to us. That means he is not mentally ill. But at the same time, if there are significant problems in any of these areas, we definitely need to be suspicious about whether it is a mental illness or not. I'm going to end with this one small thought. Let's meet again with another episode. Thank you.